Hey y'all, I'm James Wright. Welcome to my shop, and today we are making a frame saw from Bad Axe Tools, and then we're going to give it away. Let's dive in. The kit we are making today is from Bad Axe Toolworks. It comes with everything you need except for the wood. And it's actually a really well-made kit, and I really like particularly the pattern that comes for the two end pieces. It's a thick, hard cardboard and actually will hold up well to making the designs on it. Okay, I've got to stop in here for a moment. Yes, we're making a frame saw today, but you can actually own this very one. I'm doing this with Bad Axe Tools, and the idea is that they're providing the kit, I'm going to put it together, and then we're going to raffle this off, and it's all going to go to charity. Tickets for it are only $1 a piece, and all the proceeds will be going to the Roger Cliff Memorial Foundation. This is a charity organized by the Mark Adams School of Woodworking, an amazing school. The charity is designed to help students across the board, primarily though those who need help. And they work with several other programs that really focus on getting those students the help that they need. So if you would like to win this, all you have to do is spend $1 on a raffle ticket and someone's going to win it. Okay, let's get back to the build. The first thing we want to do is get the two blocks for the two end pieces. And I'm just going to cut them to length so that they're the same length as the pattern itself. Cut one down, and then we can start laying out the pattern on it and actually tracing them in. And this pattern's really nice in that it has the cutouts for both of the beams as well as the top for the metalwork. It has everything you need on there and actually does really well. My initial thought is I'm going to turn cut these out, and then I realized I forgot I really hate using the turning saw. So I actually prefer to put in relief cuts and chisel out most of it. So I'm going to relief cut down to the line. This one section in the middle is actually where the hardware will recess into the two end beams. And so we need to cut that out, and the router comes in and makes a nice clean flat bottom on it. There'll be a couple other spots for this, but those will be a little later on. But for the middle of each side, this is where the retaining hardware for the saw will sit. For the curvature, these are really not necessary. You can make them whatever shape you want. I'm going to follow the pattern on this because it's actually kind of a nice traditional feel to it and shape on it. But you can just chisel right back to the line. With that relief cut, it makes it very, very fast and easy to go right back along that line and clean it up nicely. I'll just smooth it out a little bit with a rasp and a file, and I can get a very clean edge incredibly quickly. Each one of these took me about 4 or 5 minutes each. Let's go off to the long beams, and these I cut much longer than needed to be. On the end of it, we're going to cut out a 1 inch by 1 inch tenon on the end of each one of these. We'll start off by cutting one tenon on one end of either stick, and that will allow us to measure off shoulder to shoulder. I want to cut down all 4 cheeks of the tenon first, and then we can cut off the shoulders and break off those pieces. You may have noticed I started with the chisel, so I put marks on there and know exactly how wide my chisel is. Rather than setting up the marking gauge to the chisel, I find it much easier to set it up to the block and put all the pins in place. I've got a whole video on that if you want to see more detail. Once we cut off the shoulders, then we've got a tenon left. So once I have one of these cut to the exact length, it's very important that both of them be the same length. So I'm smashing up one end, and then I'll come in and actually mark to length the second one so that I can make sure these are the same shoulder to shoulder. Now my first mark is the shoulder of it, and so I'm going to have to move that off an inch more because my inch by inch tenon needs to be an inch long as well. Then we're going to repeat the process and rip down for the shoulders and then the cheeks, and then we have 2 sticks with the tenon on either end. On the two end pieces, we need to lay out where these tenons will intersect with the body, and they're actually going to recess into the body just a little bit, just an 1/8 inch or so. And I want to actually use the stick itself to measure the width of the recess, and this way I know that it will fit in there very tightly. I'm not going to take any measurements off because my boards might be a little bit different. It's very easy to just use the actual board itself. With a saw, we can cross-cut down about an 1/8 inch deep on either side. We're just cutting out the cheeks of this little recess, one on either side, and then we can come into the chisel and remove the waste in between those. It's just like we did before, just with more, because we put them side by side. To actually cut the mortise in, to lay them out, I'm going to bring the tenon in itself and mark off of that. That way I know it's exact, so the sizes are precisely where I want. Take the square across, and then I can take the marking gauge that I had already set up when I cut the mortise and mark the front and back of this mortise. And then we can bore them out. Yeah, I know, this is the boring part. I'm sorry. We're going to cut out most of the waste with the auger. This is slightly smaller than it needs to be, and it just makes it much quicker to cut a hole that's as deep as it is wide. And so if it's shallower than it is wide, I usually just chisel it out. But in this case, because it's about the same depth as it is wide, it's easier to auger it out and then chisel it out. So we can take that down to depth, and we want to make sure that this actually fits in. We want a nice, clean, tight fit on both the shoulders and the tenon all the way down. And ooh la la, that makes me so happy. I love it when things just squeeze down in there. and then we can rinse and repeat for all the others 4 times. So this is a little bit of repetition in that you're doing everything 4 times. And that's the frame. Now we can transition on to actually making this frame a little more comfortable because it's all blocky and edged and annoying, and we want to make it feel good. The last little detail we need with the hardware is putting in this stop plate, and this is the screw on the end goes into that rather than digging into the wood. It's a nice little addition. I like what they added there. But we can put this together and actually see how she works and looks, and yeah, it's what I want. Everything is fitting, everything is shaped, the saw is functioning. We have a good saw. We could stop here if we wanted to, but if you ever held onto it, you'll realize, no, we needed more. First thing is some chamfers, and I'll use the chamfer sled from Reed Plains. It's a fun little kit to put together, but this will allow me to put an accurate chamfer on all edges so that they all match up the same. I'm not putting a lot on there. I just want a little bit, just a nice accent, slightly more than breaking the corner. Ends up being like 6 or 7 passes per corner. And we can do that on all 4 edges of the beam, but then onto the body itself, because it's actually shaped in like a weird edge, we can't do that with the router sled. So we're going to take in the spoke shave, and this does really, really good for following that curve and wrapping around. And we want to put that chamfer on all of the straight edges, but on the 2 end caps, we want to actually hold onto those. And so those need to be comfortable in the hand. We want to do more than chamfer. In this case, I'm actually going to round over the 2 ends and get a nice grip on them. For that, we're going to grab a rasp. And the rasp will take them down really, really quickly. I've been playing with this one from Kutzall and the handle from Davis Tool Systems, and I've really been enjoying this. I'm hoping they come out with some other ones on there. But the whole process here is you rasp very coarse, then you come in with a coarse file, and then a medium file, and then a fine file, and it's basically ready for finish. And I like to just take it through the series, and you can make these really nice organic shapes, and you test it with your hand, and you shape it a little more, and you test it with your hand, and you shape it a little more, and you can get a fit that matches you and really works well in your own hand. And then you just take it down through the files until you get a nice clean surface. And then I realized, what am I doing on that other vise when I've got my pattern maker's vise? Because I'm basically making a weird pattern, except for I'm not going to make a pattern from it. It's an organic shape on here, and being able to move this head around, and I work on it from one side and work on it from the other side and twist it to where it's comfortable to work on, and I really like how this came out. So you can see how it's coming in with the fine file to do that last little detail, and I'm just getting rid of the marks from the previous saw until I get that beautiful little feel on there. Go back and forth on each one. Each side of each end, it takes me about 3 minutes. So I have to do that 8 times, and yeah, it takes a little bit, but put on a good audio book and it goes by pretty quickly. And plus, I really enjoy this step. Now, yes, I am going to sand this. I'm working with oak, and I like to fill the pores with dust. It actually allows the oil to soak in a little bit deeper, and you get a better blotchiness. You get that contrast between the early and the late grain on all of it. And yes, of course, we are using homemade boiled linseed oil. What else would I use? This is just, I love the way it brings out that grain in there and just makes everything pop, especially with the white oak on here. It's very, very pleasing. But I'm going to let it soak on, put on as much as I want. I'm going to layer it on, put it heavy, and put coat and coat right after each other until it stops taking it off. Then we can wipe off the excess, apply some paste wax, let that sit for a little while, and then come back and polish off the paste wax, and they're ready to go. And now we can take this thing for a test drive. So we built this saw. The question is, will it cut, and will it cut cleanly? And you never know until you give it a try. One of the keys with these is you want to really crank them down. You want these to be tight. If they're not tight, they're going to be bowing inside the cut, and you're going to have all sorts of issues. This board is 10 inches wide by 18 inches long, and we're going to be ripping it right down the middle and basically cutting out 2 pieces that are ever so slightly thinner than 3/4 inch. So we can start on the cut and let it ride down. I use a little bit to get it going, and then once it gets going, then I can step back and use my whole body and let it slide into it. And this, oh man, it just marches right through. It was an absolute pleasure to work with. I sometimes fear resawing, but this one made it very enjoyable. You can see how quickly it just cuts right down through it. It slides through the wood really beautifully and very enjoyable. I did enjoy my time with this, and it's a lot of fun. A very good saw, working very, very well. You can get your whole body into it and move back and forth, and it goes pretty quickly. This whole piece took me about 6-7 minutes, and then we're through. But how does it look inside? And I was very pleased with this, and you never know until you get it. Is it curved inside? Is it bellied inside? This one actually came out really smooth and clean and just about ready for the plane to take it off. All around, very happy. So there you have it, frame saw from Bad Axe Toolworks. I really, really like this kit. I've made several in the past, but this one is very nice and smooth. And the plans for it are actually some of the better ones I've come across. Not to mention you come with the paper pattern for the ends. Just a really nice kit. I enjoyed building this one, and as you can see, very clean kit right off the saw. Anyone can make one of these. So if you'd like to get a kit like this for yourself, then you can go down in the description down below and see the link down there. Or you could win this very saw, which I will be shipping this off to one of you. One of you are going to win this in the raffle, and we're going to be raffling this off. It's $1 a ticket. You can buy as many tickets as you want, and the winner is going to get this in the mail. Don't even have to pay for shipping. All the proceeds are going to the Roger Cliff Memorial Foundation. It's a foundation set up to help students across the board, but specifically students who really need help. And it's run through the Mark Adams School of Woodworking, which is a phenomenal school. You gotta go take a look at that. I'll leave links to all of that down below and you can find out more and where you can get your ticket as well. So I think that'll about do it. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, snide remarks, then let me know down in the comments down below. Speaking of the comments, you're probably gonna get someone spamming down there saying, you won it. I will not tell you in the comments. I will actually email you when it's done, because when you purchase the ticket, you'll put in your email. So if you like that, then you know what to do. But if you do have any questions, thoughts, ideas, snide remarks, throw them down there. It does help out the channel, as well as all those names over there are my sponsors. Yes, that's right. I'm not actually sponsored by anyone. Bad Axe Toolworks is not sponsoring or giving me any from this. I actually pitched the idea to them, said, hey, you provide the saw, I provide the work, and we'll raffle it off for charity. And they said, that's awesome. And I get to say and do what I want to do and promote the people I want to promote, and that's all because of you. You sponsors are the ones that make this happen, so thank you for that. If you'd like to find out more and make this happen, then think about becoming a sponsor. One of those names over there. There's links down below. I think I'll do it for now, and until next time, have a wonderful day. I've been framed! I know, I saw. Okay, I know, I'm legally required to do that joke. I know it's a bit of a stretch, but it does at least cut to the point.